welcome back to my channel. I know, I suck.
Look at this baby though. Thank you.
I suck at filming videos on my channel because we're vlogging now. If you guys didn't know already, we have our new family channel. If you
subscribe to the J family.
Yes, if you guys are not subscribed to the J family, please do so. The link is down below. And yeah, that's it about our channel. Today's video, we're gonna do the postpartum and recovery video for moi, obviously, because this guy didn't have the baby. But I have him here with me because he was a part of it, and he's here to take care of Jamie, just in case she gets fussy, right?
Something like that.
So I'm gonna try my best to remember what happened because it's been almost 3 months. I know, 3 months, and I'm barely doing this freaking video. But if I forget something, please help me.
I got you, baby.
So, if you guys didn't watch my labor and delivery video, I suggest you guys watch that first. I'll put a card up here, and I'll link it down below. So go watch that first, put pause, watch that video so you guys could understand this whole recovery and postpartum. After delivery, after pushing her out, this is gonna get TMI because a lot happened. Painful things happened. So after pushing her out, I did push her for what, about an hour. Well, during my pregnancy, I got hemorrhoids. So if you were pregnant before, you already know some women, they get hemorrhoids when you're pregnant because all the pressure of the baby, everything's like just more pressure down there. And you get more constipated. I mean, I'm just being honest with you guys. You get constipated when you're pregnant. And I got more constipated because I had anemia and I had to take iron pills, and iron makes you constipated. So I got hemorrhoids during my pregnancy, which was hell because it got worse, right? I think last trimester. It got really bad. I was just in pain every time I used the restroom. That's a lot to your mind, but it's kind of embarrassing, but I need to tell you guys. And then, so since I pushed her out, it took me almost an hour to push her out. I was pushing really, really hard that my hemorrhoids got even worse. Bad. Even my midwife was like, you're gonna be in pain after, you know, the epidural is gone and it's fading away. So I was like, oh great, I have to recover from that and down there because I'm like swollen down there because pushing her out. So I wasn't looking forward to that. So at first I didn't feel anything because I was still numb. And then after the epidural was fading away, they did tell me I had to pee within 4 hours after pushing her out, which I've never heard of. I'm guessing, because he told me too, that I had blood in my urine. And if you go back to my labor and delivery story, the footage, when they took out the catheter, you could see the bag that it's just red fluid. Like, it's not even yellow pee. So that scared me because I don't remember seeing that bag. Like, or at least having blood in my urine. So, because they didn't tell me anything. They just told me you have to pee within the first 4 hours after pushing her out. So they're like, until you start feeling your legs, you could walk, then we'll help you walk to the restroom and pee. And they had to measure my pee. They put like a tray in the toilet. So after a while, I started feeling my legs and everything. I started feeling the hemorrhoid. And it was pretty large, you guys. I felt it. I felt like I was giving birth back there. I know it sounds gross, but
it was like a golf ball.
It was huge.
So, keep it 100 over here.
I got help to walk to the restroom. Then I sat down. That tray was touching my hemorrhoid. So it was painful for me to sit down. Plus, I just gave birth, you guys. So I was already sore. I was bleeding. I was swollen. Too much was going on. So I was sitting down. I was like pushing. And I could feel the pee wanting to come out. It felt like when you guys hold your pee in for so long and you're pushing it out and then holding it again, that's how it felt like. So I was trying to push and push and push, and one of the nurses was coming in and I was like, I can't pee, like it's not coming out. I'm trying so hard, I can't pee, it doesn't come out. So she's like, just try to, because you have to pee at least the next 2 hours because 2 hours already passed by. So I was like, okay, like I was getting more worried because her face was like, you need to pee. So I was like, okay, like why? Nobody told me why. She even turned on the sink in the bathroom for me to just try to pee just by hearing it. That didn't help because my hemorrhoids was hurting already. So she was like, okay, we're gonna have to change you to, put you to your recovery room. I was like, great. They put me in a wheelchair. Even sitting down on a wheelchair, it was so painful for my hemorrhoids. Well, and then on top of that, you guys, I did get a 2nd-degree tear. So I tore my skin and my muscle. And I felt that already. Even though they they haven't given me any pain meds just yet until I went to my recovery room. So I was feeling all that, you guys. And then just to let you guys know, I have really low pain tolerance. Even tell this guy, like,
it's 0.
It's at 0. I was just in pain. I wasn't in the mood. And then I don't know, I think you were like paying attention to me, but my mom was like watching her. Because we had to push her out too, to my room. Yeah, I couldn't pee. I went to the recovery room. This recovery room was so tiny. So tiny.
It's the size of this crib behind us.
It was so tiny. I mean, I don't really care because all the nurses was taking good care of me. I loved all the doctors, all the nurses there, except one, which I'm gonna get into. So I went to the other recovery room, and then
where's Jamie?
Guy playing with Jamie. We went there, and then I guess they all switched nurses because it's a different, you know, field. Like they're different jobs. So I was getting to know the other nurses and doctors that were gonna take care of me. There was one, you know, the nurses were telling them all like my problems and all that, like, you know, I had a hemorrhoid and this and that. So she was like, okay, we have to empty your bladder. Okay, my mom's calling. Because 3 hours already passed by. So I had 1 hour left to pee. So I was getting more worried because this other nurse, she was like, not giving me attitude, but you could tell she was frustrated, like at her job. Like, you have to pee. She was getting frustrated at me because I couldn't pee. Like, girl, I could only do so much, you know, I just gave birth. This guy was already getting frustrated with her. So I went to the bathroom there. They put a different tray because they had to measure my pee, like I mentioned. So I tried to sit there and I was like, I can't because my hemorrhoids are hurting. Like they're touching the tray. I was like, I can't push while I'm in pain back there. I was in pain, you guys. Like 1 out of 10, it was like 20. I was in pain. And because my hemorrhoids never got this severe, you guys. Like it was, something's like flying in here. So she wasn't understanding me. I was like, I'm in pain. Like what more do you want me to tell you? Like I don't know what to do. And then she was like, okay, she's like, let's deal with one thing at a time. She was frustrated because I was in pain with different things going on. And I'm like, dude, like I just gave birth, you know? If mothers out there, if you guys gave birth vaginally, you already know how swollen you get down there, how sore and painful you are afterwards. And then on top of it, I was getting cramps, like contractions still, because that's what you get after you push a baby out because your uterus is contracting and shrinking. So she was like, okay, you know what, let's deal with your hemorrhoids first. So they told me to do a sitz bath. They put a bowl with warm water in the toilet for me to sit on. That was still irritating it, which it should help, but it wasn't helping me. So I was like, I can't do this, I can't. And then at first they put hot water and that just made it worse. I was like, it burns. And that same nurse was getting frustrated because I kept telling her something wrong, you know, like, okay, it's hurting me. No, I can't do this. I can't do that. It's hot. It's cold. Like, you're there to take care of me. You're there to help me, you know, not make things worse. So she was like, okay, let's put warm water. So I was like, okay. It was still kind of hot. She got more frustrated, more fed up with me. So I was like, oh my God, like, I just wanted to cry. And I was calling Justin. I was like, babe, I was like, come here. Like, nobody's helping me. No one's understanding me. You know, like, I wanted to cry. And then he felt bad because he didn't know what to do. He couldn't help, you know, he couldn't do anything. Then they changed the water again and it wasn't helping, so they took it out. So she was like, okay, let me put a suppository in there that should help shrink it, but not as fast. Eventually it'll shrink. So they did that and she was already talking like so annoyed. She was like, I can't even put it in or whatever, and you know, TMI, I know. But they eventually put it in. I lay down for a little bit and she was like, no, after that I tried to pee. I still couldn't, you guys. 4 hours already passed after giving birth. And they were concerned. She was like, you need to pee. Like, they said that it could cause, like, it was life-threatening. That's what they told me. So I was like, what the hell? Like, you guys are worrying me even more. So, my main fear of giving birth was first the epidural, which I told him about. Second was the catheter that they put in your urethra when you have an epidural because you can't walk to go to the restroom to go pee. So they have to put a tube in for you to pee just whenever it just goes through. So I was afraid of that, but luckily they wait till after the epidural's kicked in, you're numb, they put the catheter. Eventually, like, luckily I didn't feel that, you know, so I didn't feel a thing. I was like, oh, it's in? Because Justin was like, yeah, it's already in. I got through it, didn't feel a thing. Now, after giving birth, because I couldn't pee after 4 hours, and I guess because I had blood in my urine, they had to drain my bladder with another catheter. So they had to go in with another catheter, reminding you guys, I just gave birth. I'm swollen down there. They took out the first catheter, so my urethra is already kind of irritated because of the first one that I didn't feel. And she was like, we need to, like, you can't pee on your own, so we need to drain your bladder. We need to do it now. So I was like, oh my god. So I was like about to cry. I told Justin, I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I felt like I was gonna die. And then that nurse was already fed up with me. So they got the catheter. They prepared me. So I was like, great, like this is happening again, but this time I'm gonna feel it. My fear of giving birth in the beginning, and now it's happening. Like, it had to happen to me. Great. And he was already nervous. He was already worried for me. And then, so she was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I know it hurts. I know it hurts. She was trying to find my urethra, like my hole to put the catheter in. But she was like, I know you're swollen. I know you're sore. Like, you're really swollen. I can't find it. I already felt the catheter go in. She's wiggling it. She's like, I still can't find it. Like, and I'm like, you're already in there. You're already inside. Like, I felt like needles going in. She was like, I still can't find it. And I'm like, oh my god, like, you're already in there. I could feel it. She took it out, and I'm yelling. I'm holding his hand. I'm holding another nurse's hand. They're like, we're here for you. Like, because it was so bad. This nurse was like, I need to call another nurse to help me open you up because you're so swollen, for me to be able to enter the catheter in. So I was like, oh my god, like, okay, like, it's not over yet. Again, they tried it again, and I felt the same thing that when she did it the first time. So she's like, okay, it's in. And they had to put it all the way in. I don't know how long it was. And that was painful. I was like, okay, is it in already, like all the way? And then she was like, no, not yet. They kept going in and in and in. That seemed like forever. Eventually, they drained my bladder. It was a lot of pee, you guys. They filled up one tray. They needed another one. That's when he came in. This nurse was like, oh, can you get the tray? Or I don't know what. They told you to get a tray or something. They even told him to do something that wasn't his job to do. Like, that's how fed up she was. She's like, can you go get another tray? Because I can't, I don't know what. So they needed to fill up another tray. And all I remember, I think, was seeing the urine just dark. But then he was telling me that it was red or something. So that scared me to death. Like, knowing that I had blood in my urine, and nobody told me this at first. They drained my bladder. It took a while, and then they took it out. That took forever. I felt the pain, you guys. Oh my god, it was so painful. Like, I'm not trying to scare, like, girls that are pregnant now that are gonna, like, might go through that, or you might not even go through that. It was just my luck. Yeah, that happened. They took it out. I was already in pain after that. I just wanted to lay down. I was in pain with my hemorrhoids. They gave me ibuprofen because my cramps, my body, I just gave birth. Then I guess they had to connect, because I already had my IV. They just connected me to a new machine because I was in a new room. When they connected me to that, after the whole chaos, I guess the speed of the meds to go through the IV was on, like, high, that it was rushing through my veins, and that was so painful. I thought my vein was gonna pop. I was like, I yelled. I don't know what happened after that. I yelled, and it wasn't a good feeling. So they were like, they got scared. They're like, oh, and they just stopped the machine. I was like, it hurts. She was like, okay, I don't want to take it out and poke you again, put another IV. So let me try to fix it. Let me see if it's a machine or whatnot. They did it again. It hurt again. So they stopped it for a while. They gave, like, they gave me a break. Then they did it again. Another nurse came in to do it. They fixed it. She was so sweet to me. She did it so, like, soft and gentle, and it worked. Like, I didn't feel anything. And then I guess they were coming to check my hemorrhoids because it was pretty bad. They checked it out. They said, yeah, it's irritated. I guess the only thing that they were helping me with was with creams, suppositories. I brought my own creams because they helped me at home, and wipes. And then they also told me that I had to go number 2 at least once after giving birth. And I did that after they put the suppository and all that. It was pretty painful after that. Then it got worse. It got worse. It got worse. After, when it was just getting worse, my hemorrhoids, one of the nurses came in and she was like, this thing will help. Like, it should shrink it. It should help a lot. Like, she said she heard a lot of mothers say that experience hemorrhoids, that it helped them out a lot. So I was like, okay, like, whatever, like, I need something. Like, I was so desperate for anything that would help me. She was like, okay, you just put it in. It's like a foam. You put it in your butt. This foam thing made things a lot worse. I was in a lot of pain, you guys. Like, this was more painful than the whole labor and delivery part. Like, just that's how you know it was painful.
The title of this video should be "Pregnancy Destroyed My Butthole."
I'm just being honest with you guys. Like this, if I leave all this out, then there's no story to tell you guys. Like, boom, I gave birth, I recovered. That's it. I'm telling you guys, this is my story. This is my experience. So yeah, after that foam, it hurt so bad. It felt like someone was cutting me open in my butt. That's how it felt. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, that's how it felt. Like, I was in tears. And this nurse felt so bad. She was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I thought this would help. Blah, blah, blah. Then she was like, okay, we're gonna have to, like, she's like, try to flush it out, you know, with the, what's that thing? The squirt bottle that they give you after you give birth. So she's like, try to flush it out with water or rinse it, you know, whatever. So I tried doing that. Nothing helped. I was in bed. I was literally holding on to, what's those things called in my mind?
The handrails.
The handrails. I was just like, I can't take this. Like, I was in tears already. So another nurse, they all didn't know what to do. After a while, another nurse came in to check them out. I guess they like separated my hemorrhoids with like a pillow cover or whatever, because I guess it was like rubbing against my butt. What? So they did that. It kind of helped. I laid down. I took like a power nap. Then after that, it kept getting worse and worse and worse. I was crying. So I guess my midwife, they called my midwife because, you know, she's the one that delivered this beautiful baby. So she came to check it out. I was already in the restroom in tears. Like, I was crying already. I was like, I can't do this. Like, I need help. Then she was like, you know what? This girl needs Percocets. Like, go get her Percocets. Like, I'm gonna put it, you know, I'm gonna put it in the system. She needs Percocets. So they're like, okay. That was the last option. These Percocets saved my life. These Percocets just...
Percocets.
I felt drugged.
Percocets.
I felt drugged up that I was like, the whole room was spinning. I was like, okay, I need to nap. I napped. I just went to sleep. I didn't feel no pain. I was like, oh my God, thank you, God. So I guess I depended on those pills. So every time I felt pain, I was like, I need a Percocet. I need a Percocet. I need a Percocet. But then eventually they're like, okay, like, just try to slow down. She's like, do you really, really, really need that right now? And I was like, no, but I'm scared for it to come back. So she's like, okay, just wait. So after a while, like, okay, things got a little bit better. They were, you know, my hemorrhoids was like shrinking very slowly, but it was shrinking. And I kept putting creams, you know, just to keep it clean back there. It was always painful if I didn't take a Percocet. Now I'm gonna talk about breastfeeding. I know there's some of you guys that want to know if I breastfed her. How did that go? How did that feel? So I did breastfeed her for the first week. The 3 days I was in the hospital, I breastfed her. That was it. No formula, no nothing. And then a couple days after, when I was already at home. So like a full week or maybe a week and a half. At first, when she was born, she latched on great. Like, a nurse was helping me. And she was eating, like, she was doing so good. So I was like, okay, this is a piece of cake. Then after breastfeeding her, after, you know, hours and hours and hours, it was becoming more painful. My nipples were getting irritated. I was getting cracks. They were red. But I was like, no, like, I really want to breastfeed her. I had a lot of different lactation nurses come in and out of my room just to keep helping me. I tried different positions. My best one was, I think, lying down, having her next to me, laying down. And then was it the football position?
Yeah, football.
But to remind you guys, I'm a small girl. This baby weighed 7.8. So it was kind of a weird, like, the only position that really helped me was just laying down. Because she was a kind of a big baby for me, for my body, and then my boobs were huge. So it's like, what do I do? How do I do this? But I got the hang of it. I was getting there. I was trying to position her, whatever, trying to do it by myself. He also helped. Then after, they're like, okay, if she's not latching,
Jamie
then
left.
I guess they were helping me with the spoon and the syringe, trying to pour the milk or squeeze the milk on the spoon, get it with the syringe, and feed her. At least I'm stimulating, you know, my nipples, so my milk start producing more and more and more. That was helping. I think that very next day, milk was already coming out. And I was like, damn, like, that was fast. I was producing enough milk for her. Like, it was a good amount. So I was like, okay, I could keep this going. But then she would latch on, but instead of sucking, she would chomp. Like, that already sounds painful. And my nipples were already cracking. They were red. They were irritated. So I was like, oh my god, it hurts. Like, she was biting, like chomping and sucking at the same time. So I was like, no, baby girl, like, just suck. No chomping. There's some moments that she did suck and she did latch on very well. There's some moments, or most of the time, she didn't. I kept trying, I kept trying, I kept trying. It was already so painful that they had to give me some cream, nipple cream. I started using a pump towards, I think, the last day I was there at the hospital. They gave me a pump, which I'm so grateful for. They gave me a whole set, like a machine, a pump, a breast pump, and so much more. So I was like, oh my god, like, okay, like, I have to breastfeed because they gave me all this stuff, you know? We went home. I continued breastfeeding her. It was hard because I only had my mom and my husband to help me with that. And it was hard. It was really, really, really hard. I was getting emotional. That's where my postpartum, like, the baby blues kicked in, which I will talk in a little bit. But knowing that I couldn't get her to latch on, she was crying, she's hungry. So I was like, I can't do this, I can't do this. I was crying because I felt guilty that I couldn't feed my own daughter. And she was depending on me, you know, to get that milk. So I was like, oh my god, like, I need to pump and I need to give it to her. But luckily at this time, like, she only had a small stomach, so only a little bit was enough. So I was like, okay, I could do this. Then eventually it just got worse and worse and worse. I couldn't breastfeed because she couldn't latch. Then we went to her first doctor's appointment, which was the next day after coming home from the hospital. They even told me, how is breastfeeding going? Like, her doctor and all that. And I was like, not good. I need help. Like, I don't know what's going on because I'm almost this close on quitting. Or I was already thinking of quitting and just giving her formula. Okay, she's getting fussy, you guys. So hubby's taking her away. So they said that they had a lactation nurse there at the clinic. If I wanted to talk to her and see if she could help me. So I was like, yes, of course. Like, whatever, you know, whatever I have to do. So she came in. She was really nice and helpful. Gave me so, like, much more information about breastfeeding. So I was like, oh my god, like, I never knew breastfeeding was this difficult, you guys. Shout out to all the moms out there that are breastfeeding because I tried my best and I couldn't do it. This lactation nurse, you know, helped me out that day. I tried breastfeeding her with her help. And she was like, okay, she's like, she's latching, but she's chomping. So I was like, yes, like, that's what I'm feeling. Like, that's why it's so painful, because if it wasn't for the chomping, I could have continued breastfeeding her, you know? It wouldn't be that painful. Like, the pain I was feeling, it was tolerable. The only pain that I couldn't tolerate was her chomping. It made things worse. It made my nipples crack even more. So I was like, okay, I don't want it to get to a point where I'm bleeding, you know? So I was like, oh, okay, like, she's like, do you put cream on? I was like, yes, like, I do everything. She's like, you just have to try to breastfeed or pump because you could, you know, have engorgement, or your boobs could get very, very large and get hard, and it hurts, you guys. It already happened to me once. It's painful. So we tried, and she was like, just try to suck it up. Like, I know it hurts, but just try it. Like, it'll get better eventually. And I was like, I cannot keep this going if she keeps chomping, you know, like, for me, in my mind, I was like, it's not going to get better if she keeps chomping, because my nipples felt like they were just going to fall off. I went home, and that same day I kept trying. I pumped, and then that night I was like, what do I do? Like, I pumped out a lot of milk, so I was like, okay, I could save this in the fridge. Then eventually she finished everything, so I had to pump more. So I was like, oh my god, like, not a lot was coming out. I was getting stressed out, I was getting frustrated, I was getting sad, I was getting depressed. So I was like, okay, you know what, like, I need to pump. And I was in pain already. I was like, oh my god. And I told Justin, I was like, babe, I can't do this anymore. So yeah, I was very depressed, and I was telling him, like, I just feel bad because she's not eating. Like, she's depending on me, like her mom. And I felt like I was putting him down, you know. And I was like, I'm sorry, like, I can't. Like, this is our daughter, you know. That's his baby girl too. So I felt like crap. And I told him, like, babe, I can't continue doing this. Like, I'm stressed out. Like, I can't even take care of myself because I'm worried about her. So he was like, you know what, it's okay. Even though he wanted me to breastfeed her too, because we know it's the best for her. He understood, and he was like, if you can't do it, like, he didn't, the last thing he wanted was for me to be stressed out. And it wasn't good for Jamie either, for her to feel her mom being stressed out and frustrated. So because breastfeeding, it should be like a bonding, a great experience. And it was at first in the hospital, but after a while, it was just too much for me. So we made the decision to stop. And after that, I didn't feel stressed out. I still feel guilty till today that I didn't continue breastfeeding. If I do have a second baby, I want to try my best, at least even longer, to breastfeed, because she did get my breast milk for a full week, which was good for her. But then after that, I stopped. But for my second baby, I know now how it's going to be, and I want to try at least to breastfeed a little bit longer this time. Yeah, we went to formula. He went to go buy formula, and we did that, and it went great. But then after, because I wasn't pumping or whatever, for your milk to stop producing, it's like the most painful part for you to just stop, so your boobs could know to stop producing milk. It was painful, but I heard a lot of girls tell me, try putting cabbage. Sorry if you hear Jamie crying. So yeah, a lot of girls were telling me to put cabbage in your boobs, like in your bra, and just keep it on there for so long. And I did that, and it helped. Like, the pain only lasts like a day and a half, and it went away. Like, my boobs went down, they got smaller, but it helped a lot. So if you girls are experiencing the same thing, try cabbage. It helps. Like, the slices of cabbage, peel it, put it in your bra. It's gonna be cold, but just keep it in there. It's gonna be a mess, but it helps with the pain and for your milk to stop producing. So now to my postpartum. I don't think I would say I hit postpartum depression, because that's more severe. I think I would say I got the baby blues. It's like depression, but not that severe. I just felt not myself. I felt lost. I felt that I couldn't be a mom to Jamie. And that was also because my hemorrhoids. I couldn't walk that much. I couldn't sit up for me to take care of her. That's another thing why I stopped breastfeeding, because I was in so much pain. So yeah, I couldn't take care of her. Like, Justin and my mom were the only ones that were holding her most of the time. And I felt so bad and so guilty that I couldn't even take care of my own daughter. I know I was recovering, but if it wasn't for my hemorrhoids or being stressed out because I couldn't breastfeed her, then I would be fine. Like, I felt my stitches, because I did get stitches. Like I mentioned, I got a 2nd-degree tear. I did get stitches. I felt that pain. I was still having cramps, like contractions. And on top of that, my stretch marks, they were so red that my top skin, my outside of my stomach, it was hurting. Like, I felt pain. So I was feeling all that. So I was just feeling very lost within myself. So I was like crying to Justin, like, I can't do this. I can't be a mom. Just crying and crying and crying. But having my mom there, my grandma, my husband, they all helped me. Like, it's okay, you're recovering. Like, this is your time to recover. You need to take care of yourself. And we're here, like, her dad is here to take care of her, you know, and her grandma's here to take care of her. Like, we're all here. So that made me feel a little bit better. I didn't feel like myself, like, with the baby blues. Like, I didn't feel myself until maybe a month after giving birth, like, emotionally, or maybe like a month and a half. Then I started feeling better and being able to take care of her, even though I was still kind of in pain with my hemorrhoids. He did give me more Percocets to take with me at home, just in case if I'm experiencing more pain with my hemorrhoids. Going to the restroom made things worse for me, and it felt like I teared back there too. So I did not only get stitches by giving birth, but I felt like I teared back there in my butt too. That's how bad it hurt after using the restroom. I had to continue taking Percocets every time, you know, but then I was like, I can't take this anymore. Like, it hurts, you guys. It was so painful that I would sweat because of the pain. So I went back to the triage, you know, to the labor and delivery, and one of the midwife looked at me again. She was like, you're healing perfectly. Like, your hemorrhoids shrinking, it looks great. But I know it could be painful. But she was like, you don't have a tear, or else, she's like, I didn't see inside because I didn't want to irritate it even more, but I could tell by the outside if you did have a tear and you don't. So I was like, are you sure? Because I feel it. Like, I know it's like a dull pain, you know, that, you know, gets worse and worse compared to a tear, like if you're getting cut open. So I was like, okay, that's fine. She was like, I could give you a cream, but that's pretty much all I can do. She's like, I experienced it with my first baby. I know it's painful, it's uncomfortable, but eventually it's gonna go away. Maybe it might take 6 months. So I went home and all that, and I was just in more pain after using the restroom, and I know I had a tear. It's been 3 months after giving birth, and I'm better now. Like, it healed, I'm great. After using the restroom, it still kind of burns, but it's not that painful. Like, I'm able to walk. Before, after using the restroom, I had to go straight to the bed and lay down. I couldn't walk. My stitches healed perfectly. I don't feel it anymore. I still feel soreness, but it's not that bad. The swelling went down completely. I am back to myself. I feel great. If it wasn't for the hemorrhoids, I think my experience would have been great. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, the birthing, the laboring and all that, I loved experiencing all that because now I know what to expect. But just the hemorrhoids and all that just ruined it all. And not being able to pee afterwards, and they had to like drain my bladder, that was the most painful experience I've ever been through. That's pretty much it, what I've gone through. It's a lot. It's a lot, and it's gonna be a long video. I'm sorry, but you guys wanted this, and I went through a lot after pushing her out. But yeah, that's my postpartum and recovery. And if you guys are going through postpartum depression or baby blues, I suggest just talking it out with your spouse, your family, your doctor. They're all there to help you out. You just need support and you need love around you, because if you don't have that, it's gonna be hard. Is it time to end the video? Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's my experience, you guys. I went through a lot. And if you have any more questions for me, please ask me. We'll probably do like an update, like Q&A, and you guys could ask me anything, and then I could answer all your questions. Maybe I left something out and you guys want to ask, you know, go ahead, ask away, and then we'll do a Q&A. That's my experience, but I don't regret anything because it was all worth it for this little one. What are you doing? Yeah. I will show my belly. You guys are curious on how my belly looks. It's been 3 months, so it did go down a lot. But it did take a while. I do sit-ups every night, or at least every night I try. Yeah, I weighed 142 with her being pregnant, and now I'm down to 120. So I'm still at a good weight. So yeah, I'll show you guys my belly in a second. Okay, so here's my belly with my leggings on. There it is. I still have my stretch marks, which I don't mind having. I just want to lose the baby fat. And then now, show you guys my stomach. So as you guys can tell, I still have a little bit of the dark line and stretch marks, which they were pretty red the first month, but they've gone down a lot. I have stretch marks on the sides. Here's my belly after giving birth, after 3 months. Postpartum. There's a hope that's